You ever notice how human beings love to make life harder than it has to be? That's our greatest talent. Not building bridges, not writing poetry, not splitting the atom. No, our greatest talent is taking something simple, twisting it into a knot, and then acting like it was complicated all along. Everyday life, folks, is a circus of absurdity, and the best part is, we don't even know we're in the circus. We think we're serious people, doing serious things, with serious intentions, and all the while, we're juggling flaming bowling pins while riding a unicycle made of paperwork. Take lines, for example, not poetry lines, not fishing lines, waiting lines. Nothing makes you question your entire existence faster than standing in line. A line is society's way of saying, congratulations, you have nothing better to do. You ever wait in line at the bank? You're standing there, watching the tellers, and you realize they move slower the longer the line gets. If there are 2 people in line, they're zipping along, stamping papers like pistons in an engine. But once that line hits 10 people, they slow down to the speed of evolution. Suddenly, every transaction looks like they're translating the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yes, Mrs. Henderson, let me check the drawer for exact change. Also, do you want me to notarize your cat while I'm at it? And everyone behind her sighs like a choir of the damned, and don't get me started on grocery stores. Every checkout line has a sign over it, 10 items or less. But have you ever noticed how the guy in front of you always has 23? And they're always the kind of items that need a price check. A bag of limes that came from a country you can't pronounce. And of course, the cashier has to call someone over, and that person vanishes into the wilderness, never to return. Meanwhile, you're stuck there, holding your 2 items, wondering if this is what purgatory feels like. Then the person turns to you, shrugs, and says, "Guess it's one of those days." One of those days. Lady, it's one of all the days, but we love lines, we trust lines. Lines give us a sense of order, even though they're completely pointless. You ever notice people will line up for anything, even if they don't know what it's for? Put a group of people together and just stare at something invisible and watch the crowd form. What are we waiting for? I don't know, but it must be important. There's a line. That's human nature. If you see a bunch of people standing still, you assume they're smarter than you are. Meanwhile, they're just waiting for a bus that stopped running in 1978. And while you're waiting in line, you realize life itself is just one long line. You wait in line to be born, you wait in line to go to school, to get a job, to retire, and then finally to check out permanently. And when you die, guess what? Another line. People lining up to look at your body, and some idiot at the funeral says, "He looks so peaceful." Of course he looks peaceful. He doesn't have to wait anymore. Then there's stuff. Oh, we love our stuff. Nothing says human absurdity like our relationship with stuff. We don't own stuff. Stuff owns us. Your whole life is just moving stuff around. You buy a house, and it's not for shelter, it's for storage. That's what a house really is. A place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. You're a stuff manager, a curator of crap. And once you get too much stuff, you need a bigger house. And when you fill that house, you get a storage unit. Think about that for a minute. We pay rent to keep things we don't use. That's like paying for a babysitter to watch your imaginary friend. And the funny thing is, we get emotionally attached to stuff. You ever try to throw something out? It's impossible. You pick it up and suddenly it's not a broken toaster anymore, it's a family heirloom. I can't throw this away. This is the toaster I had in college. Sure, it doesn't work, but it once burned a Pop-Tart that looked like Elvis. We're sentimental hoarders. You open your closet and you find shirts you haven't worn since 1982, but you hang on to them because you never know. You never know what? That polyester might come back in style. That shirt might get drafted into the army, and the way we organize stuff. Oh, man, that's a whole other level of crazy. Humans invented closets, drawers, shelves, boxes, bins, labels, all so we can lose things more efficiently. You ever look for something in your own house and say, I know I put it somewhere safe. Somewhere safe is the Bermuda Triangle of your life. That's where car keys, socks, and important paperwork go to die. You'll never find it again, but you'll find 40 other things you didn't even remember owning. Oh, look, my collection of souvenir spoons. From where, who knows, but I've got 26 of them, so clearly I had a life once. And don't you love how humans pretend to be logical? We invent rules for ourselves, then ignore them completely. Like diets. We love diets. Diets are a way of saying, I hate myself, but I want to do it with discipline. Every diet is the same. Don't eat what you love. Eat what you hate, and call it progress. People on diets are always miserable. They'll eat a rice cake, smile through the tears, and say, it's actually not that bad. Not that bad. That's the lowest form of praise you can give food. Rice cakes are what cardboard aspires to be. And we buy into it because we think we're going to live longer. Longer, maybe, happier, hell no. Nobody lying on their deathbed ever said, thank God I had all those bran muffins. And exercise. Don't even get me started on exercise. Humans are the only creatures who have to schedule time to move. Every other animal just lives. Birds fly, fish swim, lions run. Humans, we sit on the couch until our bodies turn into furniture. Then we go to a special building filled with machines so we can pretend we're in the Stone Age. You pay money to walk on a treadmill, a machine that takes you nowhere. You're a hamster with a credit card, and we dress up for it too. We buy special shoes, special shorts, and those little bottles that make us look like we're going to climb Everest, even though we're just going to sweat for 20 minutes and then drive home to eat nachos. And speaking of driving, let's talk about cars. Humans are obsessed with cars. We worship them. We polish them. We name them. We talk to them like they're our pets. But cars are just rolling closets for more of your stuff. And traffic, oh, traffic is the perfect example of absurdity. Every person in traffic thinks they're the only one who belongs there. These other idiots don't know how to drive. Everyone thinks they're above average. If that were true, we wouldn't have traffic, and traffic lights. Green means go, yellow means speed up, red means look around to see if a cop is watching. That's the universal translation. And what about time? We're obsessed with time. We wear watches, we set alarms, we count the minutes, and then complain about never having enough time. You ever realize time doesn't even exist? We invented it. It's just numbers on a clock. Nature doesn't care what time it is. Birds aren't checking their schedules. Sorry, can't sing today. I've got a 3 o'clock worm appointment. But we let time rule our lives. We wake up to buzzing machines. We schedule lunch breaks. We count down to weekends like prisoners waiting for parole. And then, just when you think you've mastered time, someone comes along and changes the clocks for daylight saving. Twice a year, we just agree to lie to ourselves about what time it is. That's human progress right there, lying to ourselves with precision. And the workplace, the great theater of absurdity. Offices are just playgrounds for adults who forgot how to play. You've got meetings about meetings, memos about memos, and job titles that mean nothing. Assistant regional manager, assistant to the regional manager, manager of assistant managers. It's a pyramid of nonsense, and at the top sits a guy with a bigger chair who doesn't do anything except schedule more meetings. And everyone acts like it's important. They use big words to make it sound serious. Synergy, paradigm shift, core competency. These are words invented to hide the fact that you're basically moving numbers from one box to another while waiting for lunch. And lunch, that's the highlight of the workday. People live for lunch. Where are we going for lunch? That's the only real decision made in an office. And if you're lucky, you get cake once in a while. Always for someone's birthday, And there's always that one person who doesn't eat cake but makes sure to announce it. Oh, no thanks, I don't do sugar. Great, thanks for letting us know, hero. Now go sit in the corner and enjoy your rice cake. And through it all, we act like we've got it all figured out. But deep down, we're just animals in shoes pretending. That's the big joke. We think we're civilized, intelligent, rational beings. But we're really just monkeys with credit cards, lining up for coffee, hoarding toaster ovens, jogging in place, and calling it progress. That's the comedy of it all, folks. The everyday absurdities we don't even see because we're too busy standing in line, holding our stuff, waiting for lunch, and wondering what time it is. And the punchline is, we keep doing it over and over again. You ever really listen to the way people talk? I mean really listen. Not the words they think they're saying, but the words that actually come out. Language is supposed to be this beautiful, precise tool for communication, right? But most of the time it's just noise that people make to convince themselves they know what they're talking about. Words are how we show the world we're civilized, but deep down we're still just grunting monkeys. Only now we do it in complete sentences. Take all those phrases people use every day without even thinking. They'll say, "Can I ask you a question?" "What do you think you just did?" "That was the question. You don't need permission. You already asked it." Or people will ask, "You know what I mean?" "No, if I knew what you meant, I'd be at home right now, not wasting time trying to translate your brain into English. If you need me to confirm I understood, maybe you weren't saying it very clearly in the first place." And people love their little cliches. At the end of the day, what day? Which day? What if it's the beginning of the day? Do I have to wait until sundown to know what you mean, or it is what it is? Oh, thank you, philosopher. That explains everything. It is what it is. What else would it be? It isn't what it isn't. We're just stacking words together to sound wise, when really we're just killing time between meals. Then you've got all those business buzzwords. The office is where language goes to die. You ever sit through a meeting and hear someone say, "We need to leverage our core competencies and think outside the box"? What the hell are you talking about? Just say, "Do your job better." That's all it means. But no, they gotta make it sound important. We're engaging in a paradigm shift. No, you're not. You just changed the printer toner. That's not a paradigm shift. That's office maintenance. And euphemisms, oh man, euphemisms are the best. They're how humans lie to themselves politely. Nobody ever dies anymore. People pass away. They cross over. They go to a better place. A better place. You don't know that. You haven't been there. Maybe it's worse. Maybe you get there and it's just one long line at the DMV with no magazines. But we can't handle saying, "He died." Too harsh, too real. So we dress it up with little bows and ribbons and pretend it's different. People don't lose their jobs. They get downsized or restructured. No, you got fired, buddy. They don't want you around anymore. That's the truth, but truth makes people nervous, so we twist it around until it sounds like you just got a makeover. We even soften up the bathroom. Nobody goes to the toilet anymore. No, we go to the restroom. Restroom? You don't rest in there. If you're resting in there, you're doing it wrong. And bathroom doesn't even make sense either. How many times have you actually taken a bath in a public bathroom? Never, but we keep saying it because it sounds cleaner. It's like we're trying to scrub the words so they don't remind us of what we're actually doing. Sitting on a porcelain bowl, making faces and hoping the lock on the stall door works. And speaking of stalls, why are those doors always cut short? You ever notice that? You go into a public restroom and the stall doors don't go all the way down. What's that about? You can see people's shoes. Sometimes you see their ankles. That's not privacy. That's a guessing game. Oh, looks like Larry's in there again. Those are his loafers. Language hides the truth, but architecture likes to give it away. Then there's the obsession with politeness. Excuse me, pardon me, beg your pardon. Half the time, people don't even mean it. They just say it because it's the script. You ever bump into someone and both of you say sorry? At the same time, nobody's actually sorry. You're both just announcing that you'd like this awkward moment to end. That's what language does. It papers over the awkward. It doesn't solve it. It just smooths it out so we can keep pretending we're all well, adjusted, and words change their meanings depending on what people want them to mean. Take the word literally. Used to mean something actually happened. Now it means the exact opposite. I was literally dying of laughter. No, you weren't. If you were literally dying, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Or the word awesome used to mean awe-inspiring, like the Grand Canyon or a thunderstorm. Now it means you found a good parking spot. Oh, awesome, I got a space near the door. That's not awesome, that's convenient. Convenience is not awe, but we don't care. We stretch words until they snap and then act like nothing happened. And of course, there's amazing. Everything is amazing. Coffee is amazing. A sale at the mall is amazing. A new phone is amazing. If everything is amazing, then nothing is. You can't have a world where a cheeseburger and the birth of your child get the same adjective. Honey, the baby was born. Amazing. Oh, and the fries are crispy. Amazing. Well, which is it? Because one of those things is slightly more life-changing than the other. Language doesn't just change, it gets lazy. People don't even finish words anymore. Probably, ginna, wanna, lemmy. We've turned English into a series of grunts and shortcuts. Imagine trying to explain that to someone learning the language. Yes, the word is probably, but don't say it like that. That's too clear. Say it like you've got a mouth full of mashed potatoes, probably. And then we wonder why nobody understands each other. We're not speaking. We're mumbling our way through life. And abbreviations. Oh, people love abbreviations. They'll shorten anything if it saves them half a syllable. Lol, BRB, OMG. We're not talking anymore. We're texting out loud. You hear people say lol instead of laughing. Think about that. Instead of actually producing laughter, they announce the intention. Lol, no, you didn't laugh. You just said 3 letters. That's not joy. That's laziness. And then there's the motivational garbage. People love their motivational language. Live your best life. What the hell does that mean? Like there's a second life in your sock drawer you're not using. Give 110%. Can't, mathematically impossible. The sky's the limit. Really? Then why are people walking on the moon? We invent phrases that sound good but fall apart the second you think about them. But nobody thinks about them. They just nod along and feel inspired. Yes, I will live my truth. Your truth. What happened to the truth? Since when does everyone get their own? That's not truth. That's preference. And when people don't know what they are saying, they just fill the air with filler words like, you know, basically, literally. A whole sentence can be made out of nothing. So, like, basically, you know, it's literally just one of those things. What does that mean? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But the person who said it feels like they communicated something important, and we let them. We nod and smile like idiots because we don't want to be the one to point out that the emperor has no vocabulary. Language is supposed to connect us, but half the time it just gets in the way. People say we need to communicate better. Really, because it seems like the more words we have, the less we understand each other. We've got dictionaries thicker than phone books, and we still can't figure out how to order a sandwich without confusion. Do you want mayo on that? Yes. So no mayo. No, I said yes. Yes, you don't want it. No, yes, I do want it. That's how wars get started over condiments. And the truth is, We love twisting words because it makes us feel clever. We love the sound of language more than the meaning. People will argue for hours over definitions and never touch reality. What do you mean by love? What do you mean by mean? We're like cats chasing laser pointers, distracted by the shine, never catching anything real. And the whole time we pat ourselves on the back for being so articulate, when in reality we're just rearranging syllables until they fall into a shape we like. That's the joke, folks. The very thing we use to prove we're smart is the same thing that shows how confused we really are. Words are supposed to clarify, but more often than not, they just reveal the madness underneath. And if you ever doubt that, just remember, somewhere out there right now, someone is saying it is what it is, and thinking they just solved philosophy. You know what's funny about telling the truth? Nobody wants it. Everybody says they do. I want honesty. I want someone real. I want to hear it like it is. No, you don't. You want it like you want it. You want the truth delivered in a nice package with a bow, maybe with a little sugar on top so it goes down easy. People can't handle the truth. They can barely handle the weather. But if you wrap the truth in a joke, suddenly everybody leans forward. Comedy is the only way people will let you poke at their nonsense without starting a fist fight. They'll laugh at the thing they don't want to admit, and in that laugh, for just a second, they know it's true. That's the magic trick. The whole world runs on lies we all agreed to. You get up in the morning and the first lie hits you, the alarm clock. Good morning. No, it isn't. It's 6 o'clock in the damn morning and I don't want to be awake. But we accept it. We lie to ourselves with coffee. This will wake me up. No, it won't. It'll make you jittery and send you to the bathroom, but you'll still hate your life. And then we dress up for work. Oh, there's a lie. I'm a professional. You're not a professional. You're a person in pants. But we put on the uniform, smile at strangers, shake hands like it means something, and go sit in a box pretending to care about numbers. The only reason people survive this madness is because somebody somewhere is making fun of it. You ever notice how people worship appearances? That's the biggest lie of all. Everybody wants to look like they've got it together. Whole industries are built on this idea. Hair products, makeup, clothes. You see somebody walking down the street in a $500 suit, polished shoes, looking sharp, and you just know they've got 3 overdue bills in their back pocket and an ulcer the size of Cleveland. But nobody admits that. They strut around like a peacock, and everybody else nods, pretending not to notice the feathers are glued on with debt. The joke is, if you say it out loud, people laugh because they recognize it. They've got their own glued-on feathers at home, and that's what comedy does. It pulls the curtain back. Everyone's in the theater of life, watching the play, believing the set is real, and the comedian walks out, kicks the cardboard tree, and says, "You know this is fake, right?" And the audience laughs because deep down they knew it, but nobody else had the guts to say it. Take politics. Oh, there's a playground of lies. Every politician says, "I'm here to serve the people." Yeah, sure you are. And I'm here to serve soup. They tell you they're fighting for families, fighting for values, fighting for the future. Nobody ever says they're fighting for their career, their ego, or the perks of the job. But everybody knows it. You can't say it straight. People would get upset. But you say it with a joke, and suddenly it's safe. The laugh is permission to admit what they already suspect. Comedy is the universal translator between what people believe and what they know. And you see it everywhere in families, for example. Families are full of lies. We're one big happy family. No, you're not. You're a group of people who argue about thermostats and borrow money from each other without paying it back. Thanksgiving dinner is just a festival of fake smiles and passive-aggressive side dishes. Oh, you made the stuffing this year. Interesting. But if you make fun of it, suddenly everybody relaxes. Ha, that's us. Because it is them. It's everyone. We all live the same absurd script, but we don't notice until someone points out the punchline. Language itself is built for lying. You don't even have to say a word to lie. Silence works just fine. Somebody asks, "Do you like my new haircut?" And you pause. That pause is the truth trying to escape. But instead of letting it out, you force a smile and say it's different. That's code for you look like a lawnmower accident. We lie because we want to be nice. Comedy cuts through the niceness and shows the reality. Most people's haircuts are terrible, most people's houses are messy, and most people's lives don't look anything like they want you to think they do. And we all laugh because we're relieved someone said it. The beauty of comedy is it's the only place where honesty gets applause. Think about that. You tell the truth at work, you'll get fired. You tell the truth in church, you'll get shunned. You tell the truth at a family reunion, you won't get invited back. But tell the truth on a stage with a microphone, and people line up to buy tickets. They want to hear it, as long as it's funny, because funny takes the sting out. Funny is the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down, and the medicine is important because without it, people walk around in a fog of denial. Look at how people talk about aging. Nobody says, "I'm old." No, they're young at heart, they're spry, they're seasoned. Like a piece of meat. You're not seasoned, you're old. Your knees sound like bubble wrap, and you can't remember where you parked. But we dress it up in nice words so it doesn't hurt. A joke about it? That makes it real, and suddenly everybody over 60 is nodding and laughing because they know damn well their knees are snapping like breakfast cereal. And kids, oh, the lies we tell kids. You can be anything you want to be. No, you can't. You can't be a dragon. You can't be the Pope if you're Jewish. You can't be the center of the basketball team if you're 5'2". But we say it anyway because it sounds good. The truth is, you can be a slightly better version of what you already are if you're lucky and persistent. But nobody wants to hear that, so instead we pump their heads full of fairy dust. Comedy is the antidote to that. It tells the truth. Kid, you're not gonna be an astronaut, but you might run the deli down the street, and that's fine. And people laugh because it's harsh, but it's honest. Even the news is a comedy show in disguise. You turn it on, and they act like they're delivering important information, but really, it's just storytelling with graphics. Breaking news. Yeah, everything's breaking news now. A cat gets stuck in a tree, and it's breaking. If everything is breaking, nothing is, but they put on the serious voice, the serious suit, and they think that makes it real. Comedy steps in and says, "Hey, notice how ridiculous this all is." And suddenly the truth isn't scary, it's funny. And here's the kicker. Comedy works because people know you're not supposed to say these things. That's where the laugh comes from. It's not just the joke, it's the relief. Relief that someone finally said what everyone else was thinking but didn't want to admit. And once you've heard it in a joke, you can't unhear it. The truth is out and now it sticks. That's the power. That's why comedy scares powerful people. It doesn't just make people laugh, it makes them think. And it works everywhere. You can tell the truth about money, about relationships, about the nonsense of daily life. And people eat it up because deep down they know they've been living a lie. Money can't buy happiness. Oh, really? Then why does everybody look happier driving a convertible than waiting at a bus stop? That's the kind of truth nobody wants to admit. But once you joke about it, people laugh and nod because they know it's got a little sting of reality. The point is, comedy is the last honest language we've got. It sneaks past the defenses, slips under the radar, and plants the truth right in your lap while you're busy laughing. You might not remember the details of a speech or a sermon, but you'll remember the joke that made you laugh because it rang true. And that's why comedy matters. Not because it entertains, not because it distracts, but because it tells the truth in a world that's terrified of hearing it. And if you don't believe me, just try telling your mother in law what you really think of her cooking without following it up with a punchline.